Check. 1, 2, 3.
The Debrief. This is the Debrief.
Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's
arts and entertainment scene.
This is the Debrief.
Hello and welcome to the Debrief for Tuesday, November 20th, 2018. I'm your co-host. My name is Seth Ressler.
I'm Becky Scarcello.
And we've got a lot of stuff going on today's show.
Lots of goodies.
Thanksgiving week coming up, right?
We've got activities beyond eating the turkey all around town.
I'm looking forward to the turkey.
Well, that too, but beyond.
We're going to find out who is playing the halftime show at the Detroit Lions game, because that's a big tradition here, right? I just learned that since I moved to town.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal. Like Big Sean was last year.
Is it always a Michigander? I know it's a Michigander this year.
It has not been always, no.
Well, we'll find out who it is.
Thursday, we're going to debut our first gift guide. I'm excited about this. So we got all kinds of people to come and talk to us about what their favorite gifts are around town by local shops, local makers, things like that. And we'll put that up on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, so if you don't want to do all your shopping on Amazon this year.
Which you should not.
Because they didn't move their headquarters here.
And we have plenty of options right in our own backyard.
Right. If Amazon were a local business, then you could do your shopping at Amazon. But they're not, so you can't. No, and there's some really great suggestions in there, so I'm looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. Also, of course, we talk about a lot of things in this podcast. If you want to know everything that we talk about, you can go to our website, thedebriefdetroit.com, and sign up for the email list. We will send you a list of links to everything we're talking about.
Very handy. Or you can text Detroit to 444-999 and sign up that way.
All right, we've got all your Detroit concerts, comedy, plays, food, drink, and more. Let's get into it, starting with our guest co-host.
This is the Debrief. This is the Debrief. This is the Debrief.
All right, Becky, I want to introduce you. We have a guy who is not only a screenwriter, he's also a director of a new film called Revenge of the Mask that is coming out on November 30th. It's a short film, about 35 minutes. It's going to be available through YouTube, and it's based on the Dark Horse comic. You remember the 1994 Jim Carrey film that came out?
Sure.
Right? It's based on the same comic, but...
right, but this trailer is really compelling.
It's dark.
Yeah, it draws you in, so I'm interested to see his take on this theme.
Well, and best of all, he is a filmmaker from right here in Michigan.
Right.
Please welcome Lance Kawas. So,
hello, Detroit.
How are you?
I'm actually doing really good.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Fine folk.
Thank you.
I'm so humble. Thank you so much.
So you're a filmmaker. By the way, have you been doing a lot of podcasts? Or is this
Not
your
really,
first?
No, this is my first one.
We're going to have fun.
Very impressed.
Can we talk about the film a little bit? Tell us about, set it up.
I don't usually do short movies. I do feature length. And a producer of mine who's been trying to do this for 15 years, this is his baby. His name is Dylan Sides. He's the producer. Approached me and said, Lance, Dark Horse gave me the okay to do this. And I said, what? Dark Horse? The comic book Dark Horse? Let me think about this. It took me maybe 60 seconds to say, hey, what is this all about? And he pitched the story. He had a script. And I accepted right away. I said, I'll take it on.
Now, were you a comic book fan?
Yes, I do collect comic books, but I was not big into the mask itself. I'm more Superman, Batman, all that stuff.
Okay.
So I had to go back and do a lot of research with the mask and all that stuff. And I found out actually the Jim Carrey version is actually totally different from what it actually is. It's more on the dark side with a little bit of comedy. So
you're taking it back to more true to the comic.
The true roots of what the mask is all about. Mm-hmm. And if you watch the trailer or the first epilogue, Rise of the Mask, you'll see that it's more on the dark side than it is the way that Jim Carrey took it.
Right, so people can see two things right now on YouTube.
Yes, they can. They can see the actual trailer. I know three things. They can see the teaser, they can see the trailer, and they can see the epilogue, which is the Rise of the Mask, which is a 7-minute intro to how the mask ended up on the beach. So.
Perfect.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
So set it up for people who may not be familiar with the comic or the movie. They may not know anything about the mask at all. Mm-hmm. What's the basic premise?
The basic premise is about a man who's down and out. He has a gambling problem, and he's in debt to bad people who take advantage of his wife, and he ends up stumbling on this mask after he being dangled and thrown over a bridge, and he realizes this mask has powers, and he uses that mask to avenge what they have done to the wife, and in the end, he himself becomes dark.
Right.
So his life changes from being this nice guy who has a bad habit to become a dark person. And we may do even a sequel because
I was going to say it kind of sets up to.
It sets up to it because we were not in any way, Dylan and I, expecting the response that we've been breaking records based on a national level based on a short.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I remember when we first tossed out the teaser, which got around 350,000 hits. We weren't expecting when we throw out the actual trailer to hit. I think today it's going to hit 9 million.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
I was going to say
That's
over 8
amazing.
million.
Which was, and the response has been so, global. It's like I have people contacting me from, I swear, languages that I've never heard. It's like people are so impressed and they want to see. It has a big fan base. And it shocked us all. And one day, I remember Dylan and I were like the whole day tracking YouTube. 4 million people in one day watched that trailer. And I was like trembling. I was like, this is too much for me. This is like, I've never experienced such a thing. And I don't think for the rest of my life and doing film, I don't think I'll have this response in such a short, because it's only been out for 2 months and we're 9 million. And the Rise of the Mask has only been out for 3 weeks and we're 6.3 million.
Wow.
So cool.
And that's a 7-minute. So people are taking their time and
watching the whole thing. Yeah.
You are viral.
We are. Yes, absolutely, we're viral, and it's like it's nuts to the point where Warner Brothers had us on the phone and saying, "Listen, we don't allow people to do movies about our this is their property, but because it looks so studio-like,
right? And
people have been calling Warner Brothers and say, "Hey, when is this movie coming out? When is this movie coming out?" Actually, they're not doing it. It's a bunch of local Michiganders coming together making a movie like this, and they said, "You know what? You have our blessing. Just let it go." I mean, they're going to benefit out of it.
Right, exactly.
Definitely, they're going to benefit out of it.
You say Michiganders. I mean, talk about, did you make this film here in Michigan and using all Michigan people?
Let me tell you something about this Dylan Sides fella, my multi-talented producer. He is an intense human being because he's been trying to put this together for 15 years and nobody believed in it because it's a difficult thing to put out. What he's done over these years is he's developed two things. He's developed the art of prosthetics making. He's the guy who actually made these masks. Why? Because he worked on Son of the Mask as a young kid. So he developed that intense, a professional, studio-like way of making molds and making prosthetics, the hands that are being cut off. And he bought that. He actually made the chests, the shields, the knives. I mean, he did everything.
Wow.
With our team, we have a team. Another guy by the name of Tracy, also from Michigan. So if you watch the movie, everything in that movie that you see, boxes, shields, swords, costume, masks, the way it transforms, even the CGI that you guys are going to watch, which is high end, all from Michigan, including the director, the stunt guys, the DP, Istvan. I mean, this guy has a wonderful eye, and I think this guy is going to be one of the a major cinematographer. Not to be right, it's all from here.
That's wonderful. Something to be really proud of.
Very proud. The music, local music, with the exception of the composition. I have to give it to France. Pierre Vaucher. He did the music composition for us, but everything else is...
well, that's okay. Detroit was founded by a
the writers of the script, Kyle Parker, Dylan Sides, Athena Lebesses, all of them are from Michigan.
Let me ask, when you decide that you're going to do this project, what is step one? After you figured out that you have the rights and
Well, the first thing is, you always, as a filmmaker, I've done 10 features, low budget, independent film, and I've worked with actors that are pretty okay known, and I always want to elevate myself, like wine, you want to be better at everything you do. So I sat down and I watched The Mask by Jim Carrey. Mm-hmm. And I watched modern movie making styles of what's going on now with studios.
I'm surprised to hear you say that, because I would think that some directors will want to shy away from somebody else's take on something, but you
No, I didn't want to copy anything. I just wanted to see the variance from that era to what we're doing nowadays in filmmaking, and take it to a level where the studios are doing Batman, Superman. What is the color palette the depth of field that they're using, the camera movement, and all that stuff. And I watch movies I just watch movies all the time, and I've been studying film. And I said to him, I didn't sleep for like a week because this is such a big challenge. How do I bring a small movie like this to compete with a studio look?
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough, like Istvan has the Ari Alexa cameras and the lenses, and it's just the team itself is so plush and is so deep and entrenched in film. These guys, men and women, have spent their entire lives devoted day in, day out
to the craft.
And they're right here. They've spent their entire fortunes and savings. That's how devoted these people are as artists, and they deserve to be thanked and recognized because they're right here, because they're taking all that risk. I mean, Dylan took 15 years of his life and basically said, Lance, here it is.
Wow.
Go do something with this. So number one, the pressure was intense. So I was not lazy. I mean, I said, I'm going to take this all the way. Even though it's a short, I want to make it look really, really good. And that's why I brought in my eyes, Istvan, he's my DP. He tells stories through color, because if you watch the film, it pops out like a comic book. And that's the look we wanted to go with. The reds are reds, the greens are greens, the blues. It really pops out, and it's beautiful to watch. Right?
It's
if you watch it, it's like a color palette.
Yeah.
It's like a tapestry, really. And that's, I don't want to just shoot a movie for the hell of shooting, because people can go make a film, basically, from high school or from college, but you want to go make cinema. It's a totally different vibe, It's like the old school classic music, like we were talking about the Eagles or, Led Zeppelin. Who plays guitars like that? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Who plays that guitar like that anymore? Everything's so synth.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. We want to go to the old school, tell a story through the lens with light and depth, and we brought that all together. And this team is amazing, and we put that together right here.
So who are some of the influences? Some of the either filmmakers that you're looking at as you do this?
Inspiration.
David Fincher for me is like my master, because he's just intense in the way he tells a story with camera movie. If you watch Seven, that color palette.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a different character in itself.
Absolutely.
David
Motion.
Fincher. Motion. I mean, he's one. I have to say, Interstellar. Chris Nolan, an intellectual writer and a thinker. He's a social. I think he's an innovator, really. If you really think about the way he does and construct movies, he's not like a Michael Bay, big explosions and big music and all that. No, this guy, he tells a story with his brother. I can't remember his brother's name, Christopher Nolan's brother. But so I look up to these guys because they're my guide at the end of the day of how to tell a story and all that stuff. So.
Well, congratulations.
It's very
exciting.
Passion project. And people can watch this on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I mean, anybody can go
to pay to go watch it. That's
you can
amazing.
watch it on YouTube. It comes out at 9 p.m.
November
on YouTube,
30th.
November 30th.
Okay.
We are very proud of it. I thank Dylan and Istvan. And I have to give a shout out also to a gentleman who is extremely talented. His name is Bobby Lennon, right here in Michigan. Again, one guy that does 20 different things, and he's good at everything. He does the bullets, the blood. He's a stunt guy. He's an actor. He's a plumber. He's a set designer.
What is it with these
I have to say this because he's right here, and he's
Yeah.
devoted his entire life to bringing things out. And he's also a nice guy. He's right here in Michigan. So I need to give a shout out to him.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Well-
now, do you think when the movie comes out, we could advertise the debrief on your release?
Yeah, right. Can we
we'd
put a
like to tap
trailer?
into these 8.3 million people.
Please use me to promote you. We're all about helping each other. I'm all about, and Dylan would love it because he's actually a human being who actually cares. He's not one of those. We're not filmmakers with attitude. We're very local.
Oh, I can tell that right away. Yeah.
Easygoing. We just want to. We love the craft. We love filmmaking. I mean, we stay up till 3, 4 in the morning in streets and shooting stuff. I mean,
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
paying ourselves,
Yeah. Right. I was gonna say.
feeding ourselves.
Well, look, Lance, you're our first director as a co-host.
Yes.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
Hang out, enjoy the show, and we'll get into it. All right?
Thank you.
This is the deep.
All right, Becky, let's talk a little bit about music news. What's going on?
Okay, so we got the big Lions game on Thanksgiving Day. Huge tradition here. People go to the game, and always you're waiting to hear who's going to perform the halftime show. So this year is Mike Posner.
I like him.
I love him. Yeah, he's from Southfield. He went to Groves High School and actually graduated from Duke University as well. He was making his early mixtapes and stuff there. And I got to tell you, I saw him. He did a hometown show last May 2017, at St. Andrews Hall. It was one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Really?
It was so personal. I felt like it was like in his living room or something. His band was fantastic. They all hung out in the bar above St. Andrews after we met them all. It was, his mom was there. It just was confetti and celebratory, and he sounded great. It was honestly one of the best shows I've ever been to. And so I'm excited to see. He's got a new song. I just listened to it today. It's called Song About You. He's much more like a spiritual look. He's gone through these different phases. He had the neon green hair. He did something with Dennis Rodman,
I have read interviews with various things along the way, and he strikes me as a thinker. He strikes me as something.
Yeah. And now if you follow him on Instagram or see some of the stuff he's into now, it's much more spiritual, much more like I'm sitting out in a field with my loose clothing and token up. And
that's legal now, or it's gonna be.
Very introspective. He's gone through these different parts of his career, so he seems like really comfortable in his skin now. And the song is kind of like it's a pop song, but it's kind of a melancholy feel to it. So I think it's going to be a great performance. I'm excited about it.
It's halftime worthy?
I think I'm biased because he's local, but I don't know.
Lance, are you a Lions fan? You going to be watching the game?
Yes, I am a Lions fan, and I say that with trepidation.
I know you just got a little pale. Yeah,
it's like yes, I am.
What do you do on Thanksgiving? Do you have any traditions?
We sit. The same thing. We stay home. We eat.
You watch the game.
Watch the game.
You cry.
Part of the game.
Yes.
My heart, sinks.
Yeah, and you comfort yourself with some more food.
Comfort myself with more mashed potatoes, please.
More mashed potatoes.
Yeah. So the Motown Museum, I'm sure you've heard about, they've been trying for a while to raise money for their expansion. So it's a $50 million planned expansion for the museum. It's going to be built right onto the Hitsville, USA home there. But they got some great news this week, $500,000 grant from DTE. Energy Foundation. So that apparently is going to go to educational community engagement programs there, including a summer camp they have for young musicians. So I think that was a really good spark to kind of get the word out and get some more energy around this. Motown's going to be celebrating their 60th anniversary next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, are they actually looking to build new facilities as part of what they're doing?
Yep.
The thing that surprised me, have you been to the Motown Museum?
It's okay. No. It's okay. You know what?
I don't go out much.
Especially natives. So
I have noticed
that.
I have been because, I came here and I was new and I was like, I got to go see what the city's about. But my girlfriend grew up here. She's never been. Her sister's never been. But what surprised me about Motown was that it was houses. And then when they needed more space, they just bought the house next to it and then bought the space next to it.
And you could see in the museum, they have a little chart with little wooden houses kind of showing the progression of what they bought.
But that's not what they're going to do with the museum. They're not just going to buy 3 or 4 more houses.
You can look online at the renderings. It's a very modern look, and some people.
I'd have to see.
It's controversial.
That seems weird. To have a big building behind all those.
A big wraparound to the current.
That
space,
seems weird. All right. They definitely need more space in there.
Yeah. Right now it's a 1 hour. They're pretty limited because it's a 1 hour guided tour. You have to have tickets ahead, and then you just go through. You can only fit 20 people.
Because they get to the end, and it's basically like a garage that some of these big artists
and where some of the greatest songs ever were recorded. You can feel it in there. It smells like hits. It does. It's
it drives through all these talent that we have here in Michigan.
It really does.
There's so much talent.
And talent that sometimes is not necessarily working with a big stuff. They talk at one point, I remember on the tour, about how the way they got reverb was they would actually sing in a bathroom.
Well, yeah, but then they built this, and you can go in the museum and sing into it and see how you sound.
Right.
But this kind of tunnel thing.
I don't sound any better. I'm going to tell you that right now.
And the tour guides they have are awesome. They're usually singers or, aspiring actors, and, they're really entertaining tour guides there.
You got to go, Lance. You definitely got to
put
check
it on your
out.
bucket
Okay,
list.
I will definitely.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
1 hour out of your life. It's pretty
time.
sweet. So,
All right.
so I've got some concert picks. Of course, Wednesday night, the 21st, is like biggest bar night of the year, day before Thanksgiving. So there's all kinds of things you can find, but I'll just shout out one. Detroit's own Downtown Brown. They've been a band for, I think, 15, 17 years, something like that. They're going to be at the Loving Touch. They're in Ferndale. They have a new album out. It's their 7th album. It's called Califlorida. It was recorded in Detroit and LA, and it features some pretty big-name musicians from Sublime, Parliament Funkadelic, Leonard Skinner. So it sounds like it's going to be a really entertaining show.
That's a big bag. Yeah.
Friday, November 23rd, Echo and the Bunnymans at the Fillmore.
You a fan?
Yes, I am.
I love
Did you
them.
grow up on that stuff?
Yes.
All that.
When I was in school in England, because all that Duran, Echo and the Bunnymen.
All the new wave. Yeah.
The other ones, Goo Goo Dada, whatever. I can't remember the name.
I'm a New Order fan.
I love
Depeche
New Order.
Mode.
It's so
Depeche
cool
Mode.
too
Yes,
because
yes.
like my kids then rediscovered it.
Yep.
And so now my 16-year-old is huge into New Order. We're finding all the deep cuts and stuff, and then playing them on his keyboard.
Boy
and
George.
Yep.
Culture Club. Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's
Echo
cool.
and the Bunnymen, they do a good show. So they'll be at the Fillmore. Uncle Cracker, a local Michigander.
So what's his Thanksgiving deal?
He does, this is his 8th annual now. He just calls it his Hangover Bash. And this year's at Royal Oak Music Theater.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Saturday, November 24th. I thought this was cool because normally concerts are at night. This is actually an afternoon concert for, maybe
Us
you don't want to
old
stay
people.
up late. Now, you've been
Yeah.
you've been holidaying for a while. So this is like 2:00 in the afternoon with some amazing music at the Scarab Club. So it's Detroit Blues Heritage Series, Detroit Funk Blues. It's basically a bunch of musicians who have all, in some form or fashion, worked with George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic or Thornetta Davis, and it's $7. Afternoon at the Scarab Club on Saturday. Sunday, the 25th, Crash Test Dummies are at Crowfoot, and on Tuesday, the 27th, Hailstorm is at Fillmore. And if you like Travis Scott, there were just some new tickets released for his Astroworld Wish You Were Here tour, which is coming December 5th to LCA. You can get lower level club seats, which are pretty sweet seats, for $69 if you use the code TRAVIS.
Coming up in just a few, Detroit's getting a pop-up rink, and we'll tell you all about it.
Debrief.
Want more? Text the word Detroit to the number 444-999.
Becky, let's talk about some of the things that are happening around town.
Okay, so got to start with Thanksgiving Day, this Thursday. So Detroit has a big tradition. Some people do all of this. They go run the turkey trot early in the morning. They stay and see the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is one of the largest, best parades in the country, America's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And then they go to the Lions game. This year they're playing the Bears. So that could be your full day.
All right, Lance, what's on your agenda? You running?
I'm not much of a runner at my age right now. I just sit back and I just enjoy the shows on TV.
Yeah, watch it all.
What are you
Watch
watching?
it.
Are you watching the parade? What are you
I'll,
watching?
I'll watch a little bit of the parade, but I'll probably just watch some show at Netflix. I don't know.
He'll get into the movies. Yeah.
into the
Right.
movies.
I
Have you been to
understand.
the parade here, Seth?
I have not been. When we first started this podcast, I actually interviewed Carmen Harlan, who was
Oh, yeah.
last year's one of the Grand Marshals along
She's
with
always
Big
there.
Sean last year. But no, I haven't. So I actually do leave town to visit family.
Oh, okay.
for
Well, that makes
Thanksgiving.
sense. Sure,
So
sure.
I haven't been here for it, but I have heard.
We've
wonderful
gone to
things.
the parade some, but actually, I kind of prefer watching it on TV in my pajamas.
'Cause it's cold.
Because it's cold. It's usually really cold. But there is something super special. And I was there and saw, I was 2 feet away from Big Sean, and that's really fun. So we
Yeah.
had grandstand seats one year that you can win. There's all kinds of contests around town that you can just enter at the Detroit News or different places, and we were lucky to win those one year. So it's great, and there's so many fun people out. It's been going for 92 years. This will be the 92nd parade.
That's
That's
a
pretty
long time.
special. Yeah. So, but you can watch it on TV on WDIV, Local 4 at 10 a.m., and you'll also catch it on other other stations too. I mean, it's a big deal in the country, so something to be really proud of our own. And it's put on by the Parade Company, which you can incidentally tour all year round. If you want to go behind the scenes and see all the floats and stuff, you can do that. So the parade starts at Kirby and Woodward if you're going at 8:45 a.m. And they advise taking a fast bus or the People Mover, which is free that whole day. There's other ways to get around, so don't worry too much about the parking and the traffic. You can park elsewhere and get there with a bus or the People Mover. Or if you go early and do the turkey trot, you're already be there. There's a 10K mashed potato mile and a 5K option.
Yeah, I'm going to run 10K just so I get a good parking space.
You know? I mean, that's an option,
happen.
right? You can wear a costume. A lot of people do. So, and then, of course, Lions tailgating happens at Easter Market. So that'll be from the crack of dawn because the game's at 12:30. So Easter Market gets nuts with the Lions fans. So
Detroit is great.
it is. It's a fun day. Or, like all of us are doing, stay in a warm house and eat.
Well, the snow came early this year, so
It
like,
already feels like, holiday break.
I am fighting
December,
that urge to, I am
hibernate.
Right, it's that time of year where you're like,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
As a writer, I love it. I love the 4 seasons. I love the snow. I really do.
You do.
So you
I
like
love
that
it, yes.
introspection?
Yes.
You're in there
I
and
absolutely
writing.
love the snow. Yes, no doubt about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And rain.
Now, do you like to be out in it also, or just in your house watching it snow?
Both.
Okay.
I like to feel it fall on my face.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
That is very cinematic.
Where do you write? Do you have a room? Do you
Yes.
have a?
Well, I write alone, and I write for long hours at a time. Sometimes
Oh.
I get nervous with myself writing, so I go to a coffee house, like
Yeah.
Maple Art Theater is one of them, and I just go, visit local places and just disappear there for a minute or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you recognized? Do people know you? Do
No,
you
no,
know
no,
what
no,
you're
no,
doing? Yeah.
I'm very private. I'm very private.
Okay. I like that Maple Theater situation there
Oh my
with
God.
the bar and
The
the
best.
restaurant, and it's so nice.
The best.
Yeah.
The best. Yeah.
It's a
They have
good
the best
spot.
coffee, best food before you want to watch a movie, good popcorn, good people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're not paying me for this, but it just.
It's a great experience.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
great experience. Okay, so you're done with Thanksgiving, then you got Black Friday. So who likes to shop? Do you guys get into the whole shopping thing after?
No, I don't go to stores on Black Friday. Are you kidding?
Me
Forget
neither.
it. I'll
Heck
do it
no.
online.
Heck
Yeah.
no.
Online.
Okay, same,
Yeah, online,
same.
yeah.
But here's what's the cool thing. Small Business Saturday. Do you guys know about this? So it started with American Express, and now it's just kind of taken off. And Small Business Saturday, I have watched this grow and grow and grow in Detroit because now we have so many retail options. Like years ago, in the city of Detroit, there was not a ton of retail. But now every store I looked up has a Small Business Saturday deal. So skip that Black Friday nonsense. Go to the small stores. Like in Midtown, you got Peacock Room, City Bird, Nest, of course, Shinola, Flow. Downtown, you have Bird Bee. Detroit is the New Black. In Eastern Market, you got Savvy Chic and, DeVries and Detroit versus Everybody. You've got the Corktown area, the Avenue of Fashion at 7 and Livernois. I mean, this is some rich shopping areas that we have, and they are all doing incredible deals on Small Business Saturday. Plus, you get personal attention. Usually, you're there with the owner of the place. You're getting gift wrap. You're getting help choosing things.
So map it out for me. You mentioned a couple of neighborhoods and locations. Like how much of this can I walk to, and where should I drive from? Like, what would you do if you were telling somebody where to go?
Okay, so
in terms of neighborhoods, I guess.
Neighborhoods. I think any of those neighborhoods I just mentioned, downtown's probably the trickiest parking and the most expensive.
Yes.
But I mean, somewhere like Eastern Market, the parking's free. It's all very central and walkable, and then you can grab a nice lunch, a drink, whatever to round out your day. Midtown's also the same. You drive in, park at a central place, and you can walk several blocks in any of these neighborhoods, and you really just can't go wrong. A good place to kind of start to check out where to go is visitdetroit.com. So that's the Convention Bureau's website. So that's a good place to start. Or honestly, Facebook.
Yeah.
You search Small Business Saturday and tons of stuff come up.
You got any favorite little shops that you like to go to in the Detroit area?
I do. I do the internet shopping mostly nowadays. I just don't. I'm sorry.
understand.
Yeah.
No, I get it too.
But
yeah.
as a filmmaker, I would love to romanticize the city of Detroit, make it look like better than Paris and New York and LA if I can.
Do you?
That's something very important
Used
for people
to
to think
be
about.
the Paris of the Midwest.
Yeah, I can, because nowadays you have all these restaurants and shops are popping out. Really nice. Detroit is coming back,
Right.
And somebody has to plug it in a way to let people around the country know to come to Detroit. And for me, it's got to be a movie somehow.
I feel like
that sounds great.
For filmmakers, this used to be the place you went when you needed
dystopian,
Yes,
right?
Apocalyptic.
Not anymore.
We need Batman and Superman to have a face
There
off.
still are those spots.
There's this one, but you have
but-
now these beautiful restaurants popping out, really high end, and stores popping out in downtown Detroit. It looks really beautiful, especially nowadays. I mean, for somebody like me, I can't wait to maybe romanticize that.
Yeah.
Do you ever
yes.
walk around and go, I would love to shoot here?
Yes, I've shot
Sure.
before.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
All my movies except for one have been shot here in Michigan. So, but now because it's such a big, there's a big change now in Detroit, and somebody like me would love to showcase that in a film. All these local beautiful restaurants.
I think you got to do it.
Like a romantic movie, instead of those action or horror. I know
Yeah.
not to downplay it, but you need a movie that will bring out Detroit as
story, yeah.
a nice, beautiful story that takes place and resonates globally. You can bring that in film.
All right. Well, I'll call Tom Hanks. You call
Please
Meg
do.
Ryan.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we'll
Hey,
make
Dan
that
Gilbert,
happen.
maybe he can help.
Dan Gilbert will help. Yeah.
Shut
yeah,
up.
Yeah. And we'll make some cameo
Yes, let's
appearance
make
in there. Yeah. Well, I don't want to discount the suburbs too, because all around Metro Detroit, it's not just in the city, but for Small Business Saturday. So we've got great walkable downtown Berkeley and
Yes.
Birmingham and Ferndale
100%.
and Farmington. So
Northville.
yeah, just check it out.
Plymouth.
Just get out this weekend, avoid the big box, and shop local, and it makes a huge difference for all these businesses. Big time of year. So downtown Detroit's getting a pop-up roller skating rink. So we have our ice skating, of course, at Campus Martius. Now we're going to have Rainbow City Roller Rink. It's going to be in 1001 Woodward. That's at the corner of Woodward and Michigan Avenue. I guess there's going to be an art installation in there too by some artists that go by the name Friends With You. So it should be in the next week or two. You can go indoor roller skating downtown Detroit.
Nice.
And then just another great thing to take advantage of this weekend is as of last weekend when we had the Campus Martius tree lighting, everything downtown's lit up. So if you had a chance to go last year with all the little glass hut shops, there's lights everywhere.
It's actually
Downtown is gorgeous.
It really is beautiful.
And on our Facebook page, I put a couple of local photographers' take on it, and it's amazing, the lights and the festivities. So get out and enjoy it.
Now that I'm thinking about it, for Sweetest Day, remember my girlfriend got me that helicopter tour.
Oh my God,
of
it would be
Detroit at
amazing
night.
right now.
It probably would be amazing
The
right now.
Trees, so many lights.
Yeah. That would be cool.
This is the deep.
Brief.
All right, Becky, Lance, I want to talk about a story that caught my attention this week.
Okay.
That is something that billionaire, you mentioned him, Dan Gilbert did. He sold something and he bought a couple things, and I found them very interesting.
He just didn't let the cash burn a hole in his pocket.
No,
it
he's
was like,
it's
okay,
like-
I got this. I got to spend it. What am I going to buy?
He's a deal maker.
Yeah.
So he sold Greektown Casino for $1 billion. I guess he bought the casino 5 years ago through his company, Jack Entertainment, and for whatever reason decided he does not need
Do you know
it.
the profit he made on it?
No, but more money than I'll ever see.
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
I'm sure it's a lot because the property value has probably gone
Gone up so much
quite a bit
in those 5 years.
I mean, it's not the most impressive of the Detroit casinos.
No.
But it's got to be doing well.
I think so.
But what was even more interesting to me was what he bought. Because his company, Rock Holdings, bought the Oakland-based companies Dictionary.com and Thesaurus.com.
I just didn't even think of that as being for sale. Like, of course it is, but I didn't.
Well,
I don't
think
know.
there was an ad on Craigslist or something.
Well, he's a fan of buying online as well. So just like,
See, there you go.
yeah, he did some online shopping.
And he didn't shop local, did he? No.
Not at all. No, Oakland based.
Those are big buys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but they're unusual, aren't they? I mean, what do you do with those?
I don't know, because obviously they're free to use.
I've used them. I use them all the time.
Sure.
Right?
Maybe not anymore.
So
Yeah, is he going to monetize it? How's
I
it
have
going
no
to?
idea.
What's happening?
So here's what
Yeah.
happens right now. Right now, those sites are free for visitors. They get 540 million page views a day.
Seriously.
And the major income is from ads. Both sites were established back in 1995. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, would you charge to use a dictionary? That seems like a weird.
No.
It would have to be ad based.
Yeah.
So,
Or apply for a mortgage and get a few free words on the side.
I'm staying out of this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know.
well, there is something Orwellian about it. I mean, I do think
It
language
feels like that. I don't know exactly why, but it does.
As a screenwriter, you must know this. Language is important.
Very important, yes.
And I do watch things that political entities do, and the way they use language, and the way they, and if all of a sudden you could control the definitive resource for some of the, I mean, I guess there's others. There's the Oxford English Dictionary or Merriam-Webster, but
and who controls the content of those?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you really want the dictionary written by rich people? Who own
Well,
lots
I think it
and lots of
was
stuff.
to begin with, anyways. But,
I'm sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of.
It's going to be interesting to
We're
watch.
skeptical about this.
Yeah,
whole
you
thing.
guys are very skeptical. I don't know.
I will say one of the things that was funny was the press release, because the press release used a lot of really big words. Here's
You
a
had
quote
to
from it.
look some up.
Yes. Yeah, he probably made money just by issuing the
a press release. Oh, I gotta go look up these words on dictionary.com.
Right. Quote, from the Genesis, we admit invariable conjecture in the unmitigated competency of online mechanization to ameliorate the total sum of completed undertakings throughout our mortal existence. Cognition and discourse are conjointly associated.
This is all subliminal for me.
Right. So
Very subliminal.
Yeah.
Transcendental.
Right.
I will say this. I do like, if you haven't done it, I do like following the dictionaries on Twitter because the dictionaries have a habit of trolling prominent figures in society. Like Merriam-Webster's done this.
And checking them on their language.
Yes. And I'm not saying that there are any prominent figures who are sloppy with their language, but
or do not have a command.
I'm not pointing any fingers, but I'm just saying follow these dictionaries on Twitter. It's actually really amusing.
Very.
This is the D.
Detroit.
This is the D.
Brief.
All right, Lance, there it is. That's a show.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know.
I love
Goes
it.
by quick, right?
We have fun here, don't we?
We are, yes, I'm very impressed. This is quick and
Look,
amazing.
before we get out of here, we always like to give shouts out to a couple of people.
Yeah.
Starting with you, Becky. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Of course, yeah. So last weekend, we got the chance to participate in a Detroit history tour scavenger hunt. So our friend of the show, Bailey Sisoy Isgro, put this together with her Detroit History Club. It was a scavenger hunt throughout Highland Park, Hamtramck, and Detroit. These questions were intense.
I've been on one of her scavenger
And
hunts
all
before.
these things, and people had to take photos and do all these crazy shout outs in the
They're
middle of
hard.
traffic. Yeah. And the teams were all into it. It was an enthusiastic crowd. And so they began and ended at Tangent Gallery there in Milwaukee Junction. And I was just excited to be a part of it. I was so impressed with what they do. And people came out and got to earn extra points by visiting our booth and downloading our app and things like that. So big props to Detroit History Club and all their fun things.
So you and I were both there, and I pulled out a couple of my old tricks from my radio days. And so one of the things we did is we built what we call a crotch basketball. It's a big, you take a big Army, Navy
That's a visual
belt.
right
I know.
It's exactly what you think it is.
We have videos.
You take a belt, you put, in this
Yes.
case, it was just like a pencil jar that you
Yes.
put right on the front of it. And there's a string and a little rubber ball at the end of the string. And the object is to get the ball into the basket without using your hands, just your hips.
Yeah, it's a lot of dancing.
It's a lot of.
That's another visual.
And then,
Yes.
and then we made it ridiculous. We put big old stars
Oh,
on
as
the
if it
belt.
wasn't ridiculous.
We put pom poms
And
on
the ball was a smiley face ball.
it. Jingle bells on it. It was
Who
a
was
lot of fun.
filming
We have a few, yeah.
Yeah, they're
a few
out there.
videos. But people got into it. I love when people are good sports and aren't afraid of looking silly. And it was a good crowd.
What about you, Lance? Anybody you want to give a shout out to locally?
I would like to give out a shout out to Tim Zajaros. He's a producer who came from Michigan, went to LA and did it. He's produced several movies, and right now he's coming out with a movie called Arctic. Comes out sometime in February with Mads Mikkelsen. Got a standing ovation in Cannes. He's also producing for me a movie called The Violinist. He's a great friend, and I think I should give a shout out to
That
him and
sounds
thank him.
awesome.
for
When will
being-
The Violinist be out? Do you know?
Well, we're still in development. It's
okay.
gone out to talent, and he's producing it. He got actually nominated for 4 Academy Awards as a producer for
Wow.
Mudbound,
oh, wow.
which sold to
Yeah.
Netflix as the biggest sale for that. He's right here from Michigan. But
That's
he lives
so
now in LA.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, let's give him a shout out and a clap.
Definitely.
Tim Zajaros.
Love it.
I want to give a shout out to
Okay.
something not quite as big, hasn't won as many Academy Awards. Otis Supply, which I finally made my way over to in Ferndale for the very first time.
Love that place.
Went out there my birthday evening.
Yes,
you know?
happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. And I loved the beers they had on tap. I love any place you can get a flight of beers because this is, especially here in Michigan,
yeah.
it's not good for my waistline, but I really do.
Do your push-ups.
Yeah. Sit-ups. There aren't enough. Not enough hours in a day. But I had a couple that I really enjoyed. One of them's not actually from Michigan. It was a cinnamon roll imperial ale. And when you take, I mean, it was just like you're like, I want to drink this on Christmas morning.
Yes. Oh, boy.
How many calories?
I know.
6,000. But it's from Southern Tier in Lakewood,
You
New
should
York.
just drink it and then spit it out, like
Yes.
when you're wine tasting.
I can't do that so much. But another one that I want to mention is actually from Oddside Ales in Grand Haven. And these guys just make weird beers.
Yeah, they're aptly named.
I love trying them, and I be honest, I don't like them all. Some of them I just think are too
Gimmicky
weird
or strange,
but
yeah.
some of them I love, and they had a Nut Bandit Brown Ale that I absolutely loved. So go check it out. But you can find them on tap, at least at the moment, over at Otis Supply in Ferndale. Look, I want to say thank you to a number of people that we've had on the show, including our guest host here, Lance Kawas.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
I'm
so much.
honored
so fun.
and blessed.
Yeah.
You going to come back tomorrow for tomorrow's show, hang out with us again?
Maybe I will.
I hope so. I want to hear a little bit more about your story. Thursday, we got our first annual gift guide coming out. So if you want to show up local, buy some things that are made right here in Detroit from wonderful shops that are recommended by so many of our friends of the podcast. Check that out on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. We'll release that.
Don't forget, we've got a mobile app for your Android phone or for your iPhone. All you have to do is look it up, The Debrief, and you can listen to all the episodes there.
You can also listen on your Amazon Echo. Just say, Alexa, enable the Debrief podcast.
And that's it for us. So until tomorrow, Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
The Debrief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.